Okay. Well, the last meeting, the first draft that you guys received, the increase was close to 19.8. This version, the percentage increase for assessments for last year, is at an estimate of 19.41. The main changes from the previous version that you guys received to this one, we increased the capital reset assessment close to $200,000. The apartment rec fees, the calculation changed a little bit, so it went up close to $21,000. After reviewing with the Canoa board, the rental income for Canoa went down close to $17,000. Um,
How did that happen?
So they used to pay $25,000 annually for rent.
Mhm.
There's no agreement, there's nothing that was tied to. It was just a number that was picked out of thin air way back when, and nobody ever questioned it. So Canoa asked us to go through an exercise to figure out what their rent should reasonably be. And the exercise got us to about 7,500 and change annually.
How is that? I mean, what,
It's based
why would
on,
you do that?
because the Canoa board asked us to,
I know, but why wouldn't you come up with something more?
because I had to tie it to something
Yeah.
reasonable.
She has to represent.
I have to
both.
represent both entities.
What are they running now?
It's town hall space. So it's basically the percentage of staff,
Percentage of the-
it's percentage of staff time attributable to Canoa and Canoa only, not CJC or CROA. And then the square footage percentage that person takes up in town hall. And then that times the average commercial cam or rental price in Celebration plus the average commercial cam price in Celebration got you to 7,500 and change.
From 25,
From 25. It was, so
17.
from what we're speaking to people that were on the board at the time of the purchase of the 851 building, it was a number picked out of thin air attributed to this purchase.
Which Disney agreed with, obviously.
Yeah, Disney agreed to, because they controlled CJC and Canoa.
Right.
So, yeah.
Other than that, the expenses for general events were reduced close to $20,000. Electricity, due to the increase on the bills for this building, we had to increase specifically the 51 power close to $21,000. Water for passive parks, we also had to increase a little bit for next year, and IT costs were reduced close to $30,000. Those were the biggest changes.
There was
So-
also some reduction in events expenditures at the committee's request.
So do you feel comfortable with electric? Because I've said the last few months here, it's like way up. I mean, which we knew it was gonna be.
Yeah, Ray calculated based on.
Yeah.
Right now, this
most
time of year.
part, Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping it stabilizes a little bit because continue to increase. We're using 5,000 as the average for next year. But yeah, we'll have to evaluate.
I did some research on electricity. Because we've got some numbers all over the board, and we're up 33% or something like that in electricity right now. So Duke has lowered rates 3 times this year so far. 3 times so far. And it's a matter of things rolling off, early removal of the storm fee, fuel over collection, refund and tax adjustments. So I've got I've got both the residential and the residential chart looks like this going down. And you can't see very well if it's just a dot matrix, but that's the result of the business side also. So 2026, the per kilowatt hours between 12.5 and 14. We'd be at the low end of that because we're not intensive and whatever. They got a special word for it. I looked that up, whatever. But say 3 years ago, it was 14. Well, 2023 was 14 and a half to 15 and a half. 24 was 15 to 16. 25 was 14 to 15. Now it's going to be 12 to 14 this year. That all just happened in the last 3 or 4 months. So we're going to have, and they say it's 3 consecutive 2026 rate bill reductions, lowering total commercial impact. So we're going to get some break on electricity the remainder of this year and in the next year. I mean, rates are going to be down as opposed to up. And we're going down from, just take the base, from 14 to 12 and a half cents. We're down 1.5 cents. I'll give you this. You can analyze and look at it. but I think we need to rework our electricity rates in a great way. I played Thomas Edison looking around.
Huh?
I heard rates were going down. No, I played Thomas Edison. Okay, go ahead.
I guess, we should be able to see what our usage is on a monthly basis.
Exactly. We've got,
At least look at last
we
year.
can model a
and this
couple of
year.
them and just get a number, but we aren't gonna be going up 33% when the rates are going down about 8% or something like that.
Well, you are putting 851 online and the big island is coming up.
Yeah.
I think it's 33%, but that is some
And-
increase you guys.
And I think the thing we have to remember about 851 is we've got a new HVAC system, which is very efficient, state of the art. And that could probably drop our rates that we were experiencing before by probably 30%. And then we've got LED lights. That's probably down another 20-25%. I mean, this place is energy efficient now. So we're gonna get a much lower usage rate too. So whatever our kilowatt hours were when we were open, it's gonna be lower than that. And we're getting a better kilowatt hour charge coming too. Well, it's starting right now.
I mean, we should see like when the August bill comes in, which should be in the next few days, we'll see if it went down from 5,500. That's the bill that we got for July.
See what we're paying on a per kilowatt basis.
I'll check that.
Just check that. That's a real quick check and it should fall in that range.
Yeah.
That can be very misleading, so,
Mm-hmm.
okay, having been in that industry for years, it can be very misleading.
But how many kilowatt hours you use?
No,
Oh,
cents per kilowatt hour, because it's made up demand components and energy rates, so you gotta mix the blend correctly.
yeah, and res,
7, 8, we have 8 different billable rates for this
Right.
building.
For this building,
For this building, usage values in
Different
1
eight
month.
times.
Mhm.
yeah, but you
Yeah.
shouldn't have 8.
I mean, you have billed kilowatt on peak, billed kilowatt off peak,
Oh,
billed
yeah.
kilowatt discount, monthly
got
demand,
that.
max demand, yeah.
I wish they put that into residential.
Yes.
They were flat rate in residential. And we're, what do they call it? There's some kind of term for what we are. It's in that paperwork.
Commercial.
Yeah, it's commercial, but we're a small, because I said, okay, what about an office building?
Yeah.
An office building is different than a manufacturing plant and everything else. So you're in a little different category too. Because we're just an office building.
Do we want to go line by line now?
Let me touch on a couple, okay? You hit a couple right. So I guess I got the answer on the rent because I saw that. I saw that our assessments are down, but that's because our rate is down. Apartment rent fee was up 22,000.
That was because
From
of the
Virgin
other
Ranch.
adjustments.
So some areas where expenses went up. It's went up, okay, there's a net increase then, okay. I talked about electricity. You had moved that from 40,000 up to 60,000 in the
Yeah.
second run.
Yes.
So there's some money in electricity across the board with that. Some real dollars.
Right, not because of the.
Current run right here.
On the run rate here.
Based on the last 2 bills.
Yeah, I saw it.
think.
Exponentially.
But again, we're talking summer months, so
Yeah.
you would expect them to be higher. It's not gonna be the
You
same.
gotta look at a
December.
you gotta look at a 6-month trend. And if you take it where it is year to date, although we haven't been open before.
Can't do it.
We don't have, I would say we don't have a good trend for 3 years on this building.
Yeah.
Well, go back to the kilowatt hours on some old bills and just look at what the spread is on the rate that we're gonna be paying and what we paid in the past and do the multiplication, you should be able to get pretty close.
Yep.
Or just look at, Island Village and see how that ebbs and flows. And then try to do a seasonality to this building.
Right.
Whatever that peak is, that's where we're at now, and then reduce it for the other months.
Ray, I'm looking at the water for 851
Yes.
and we've been 4,000, 5,000. This year we're projected for 5,000 and we jumped it up to 10,000. I don't think we're gonna use more water here. Like that. First line underwater. I think there's something going.
Wouldn't it be the same as electricity? That we weren't fully using the building for like 4 or 5 months. Now it's gonna be tough.
We were at 12,000 in 2024.
Well, that was what it was budgeted for.
Oh, actual.
Annual.
Yeah,
Actually,
actually,
4,800.
5,000, yeah.
525.
5,400. very consistent in that 4,000 to 5,000 range. We're at 10. So I believe there's at least 5,000 or 4,000 there.
Yeah, it's 55.
It's gonna be higher than the 24, right? The usage probably here.
Why would
Very
you guys
balanced.
more?
We got more staff, we got more people using the building.
Yeah.
Okay, figure it out, but there's money there. Question on passive parks, how many do we have?
You have 93 right now.
Does that include the?
That includes active and passive. But your active are basically your amenity centers.
So it's in the 80 range?
Yeah.
Yeah,
85?
85, yeah.
Does that include the 9 new ones? in
Yeah.
the
No, it
village?
does not include the
Six.
Six of them.
six, yeah.
Yeah, so we're at 99.
When you think about cost of this, where we're spending money and what we're doing, maintaining those passive parks and the water alone is over $100,000, $110,000. It's a longer term question, but I gotta wonder how important those passive parks are to our residents and how many people use them.
Well, when Central Park doesn't look tip top shape like a call a day.
There'll be the anomalies, I understand that, but we're talking 85. Central Park is one, right?
I'm using that as an example. There, every pocket park is special to somebody.
And most of them are in front of people's houses. Unlike.
Because when
the
Rosing
after
looks terrible, I get a call from a certain resident. And when Potsdam looks bad, we get a call from 2 special residents.
They don't have any sensors on any of these parks, right?
We need sensors.
As far as the
Rain sensors?
irrigation? Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, they do. Most of them are on the MaxiCom system.
Island Village is not on the MaxiCom.
How come? I mean, because I keep seeing it pouring rain and then the irrigation's going off.
That one just had some plantings in it. It could be on the planting schedule. A new planting.
Now,
schedule,
it's running irrigation 3 to 4 times a day.
Sounds
Still,
like a new planting schedule. Okay.
even though we're in hurricane
I mean,
season.
landscape. The numbers are the same as version 1. Is this the contract?
Yes,
So we'll go up 17%.
you gotta remember we're adding the new parks in the contract amount.
That's a 66,000. Well, that's a contract amendment. That was for the grass or something.
Fertilization.
So there's the Bermuda, you have the contract with the Bermuda field price.
That's
And
68,000.
this is your first year, so from July 1 to June 30 next year is your first year with 0 increase. But I have to add the 15 new parks in the amenity center effective January 1 to that price, which jacks it up. And then 6 months into the year, it goes up 3.5%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that, all combined is that number.
Pool operating expenses are down 5,000 from the first version. Repair and maintenance looks pretty good, down 25,000 from the first version. There's no detail at all on janitorial supplies. Both in the projection and in the budget, but we just got a $40,000 number there. And we're saying this year we're gonna be 41,000, but we were in the 2 previous years, 21 and 24. This year we're saying we're gonna be 41. And next year we're saying we're gonna be 40. I got no detail.
Well, you're 20,800 year to date. Janitorial supplies.
That'll-
What was that restocking this place?
Yeah.
Some of it, but
Yeah.
not all of it.
Question is 40 the right run rate? I don't know.
We can reevaluate, but you also gotta remember, we're taking on a new amenity center that's gonna need stocking next year, and then if the multifunction courts are online next year, those have to get stocked up, and that's additional things to clean.
Wouldn't that come from the 10 grand already in multi-purpose court number?
Typically not. I mean, most of that is trash bags, paper towels,
For the
toilet paper, gloves. Multiple gloves. And that's most of what that line is.
So how
It
can it
shouldn't be
double?
very, it shouldn't be very material.
It looks like it's doubling this year from last year.
There's something wrong there. I mean, I know we can always
It's an
talk about why,
It's adjustment of the items that would be in the shop line, like doggy bags, probably in the past used, or not, trash bags could have gone to shop. And now as and since we brought all janitorial into one line in this year's budget, anything in that category is getting assigned.
and somebody just look at it.
Yeah.
Take a look.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it's an anomaly. I mean, when you run into these, rather than trying to solve it here or justify it, we should dig into it and look at it.
Do we have, paper towels in all the bathroom? Was there ever a cost analysis of
Where'd
whether
they
you
put
do
paper
a
out?
air dryers? Just,
Nah,
No, it was not.
more cost effective?
no.
Plus we'd have to
Electric.
go into the walls and run the electric.
Electric.
Most of
Okay.
those are cinder block walls.
And committee expenses down, that's obviously the change in the assessment and the numbers.
That'll fluctuate a little bit as everything else
When everything
fluctuates,
keeps moving,
because
yeah.
Canoa's fluctuating as well.
Right. Legal fees are still at 40,000. I still have a concern with that being that high. Talked about that before.
Mhm.
New number appeared, $4,100 for uniforms.
It was accidentally zeroed out
Yeah.
in the first pass. We've had staff uniforms in the line in here before.
It's from 1,000, 3,000.
Those are the shirts that say staff on it though.
Yeah, the maintenance team, they get,
How many, do they get issued, like a couple of them or?
they get issued.
Between 5.
A year.
No, when they first start, they get issued between 3 and 5. And then as years progress, we slowly replace them because they're wearing them every day.
And the raincoats.
Yeah, and then raincoats for them. And the Parks and Rec team has the polos with the logo and the staff on.
Standard says the
Sure,
shirt.
standards as well.
In compensation, fixed the employee benefit funds. I see that came down. That dropped $37,000. And the one in the, forget what the number was on the other one. 35 here, it was in, it also came down in CJC.
Yeah, about 50,000.
Down 58, I can remember the number. So those were good catches. The compensation numbers, facility staff is up 80,000 from version 1. And rec staff is up 18,000 from version 1.
Those were the additional positions that we talked about. What's the four?
Which ones? The ones that are yellow on the organizational chart, the 3 positions?
And on that one.
And the unfunded position as well. The artificially unfunded.
And you know that the loss is up 53,000 or something. Let's check this. Service area fees, you're gonna stay at 4% on those? You think that's fair?
That was the discussion that was held last year, was we took the jump we did last year and the increases would be tied to, CPI year over year, unless and until we add new staff dedicated to the service area, and
Then
now
we're
we
gonna
added
catch up.
in a lump sum.
We'll never catch up.
That was the decision we made on.
Oh, yes, actually, you're talking about, because you're discussing the concept on the 2-step. Yeah, that dollar amount was put aside and a new proposal came on to the board that was agreed as a 1-year adjustment.
How much was put aside? Rough numbers,
You mean, what was the,
order of magnitude. What haven't we charged that we could have charged based on,
We still increased it though, right?
yeah, we did.
yeah, we didn't increase it fully.
We increased it from 214 to 269. The original proposal was 436.
Big number.
So it was about that. From the full step up, it was about a half step up.
Yeah, but the full step represents a couple $100,000.
So the problem is there was disagreement, like with Canoa, there was disagreement from the service areas about the formula.
And it always falls back on Crow. We're the whipping boy.
We provided the information to the board made the decision.
Well,
Always before the recommendation of what we say.
I just,
If you want us to relook at the formula and readjust it and bring that back to this committee of what the number would be different, we can do that and then show it to the board, but
The rationale for this is the service areas are getting an increase in cost of 4%. The Crowell residents are going to get an increase in the 20% range.
Well, service areas pay
They
the
get,
Crow fee
yeah,
too.
they get it too.
I know, I'm on
They pay both fees.
But should their rate of increase for their service areas be somewhat similar to the Crowell increase?
No,
Because their services aren't changing on the service area side,
Their services aren't changing, but they're also going up for those services.
which is
So they
why
should
we're
be
tying it
accounted
to,
for.
which is why we're tying it 4% to staff,
But is
potential
that-
staff bonuses.
But you're saying 4% on a number that doesn't even cover the cost of what you should be paying today.
They disagree with that formula.
So I guess, how do you get to know a number to prove it out? You should know what services you're providing for that, right?
We do, and we attributed numbers and percentages to them, just like we did with Kanoa. They disagreed with those percentages and
That was discussed
it was
and
discussed
presented
with
from the
them,
board,
discussed
both
with the
numbers.
board, and the board reviewed both numbers and reviewed the commentary from the service area members, and this was the approach that
What
was.
do they think?
Do you think that was a good decision by the board?
I mean, the first one was an exercise.
Yeah.
And we had nothing to base it on. And last year we did a first maintenance fee exercise, which gave us a number that was based off salary percentages and contract benefits and burden rates and an increase. That then, after being heavily scrutinized and audited, got to a point that I think we did find agreement on.
Mhm.
I was gonna make a more global statement, but I'll look over. Let's see. I looked at the events again, and I just looked at version 2. And it looked to me and I went net, so I looked at income and expense for both, and on a combined basis. In from version 1 to version 2, they're down $18,000. I don't know if that's what we intended to be or not. So in version 1, the net between expense and income was 48, a loss of 48,718, and went down to 30,233. So it was an $18,000 pickup.
Yeah.
Is that what we wanted?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know everybody was arguing about events and that.
It's not quite to what the committee wanted, but in talking with the events team, it was what they felt comfortable and reasonable to achieve the events.
What did the committee want?
It's not discussed with the committee after the initial budget.
Well, I thought you meant this committee wanted more.
Oh, your committee wanted,
225.
220, yeah.
They get 225.
That doesn't mean anything to me. I'm working on a net basis.
Hold on, I'll tell you what the difference is in terms of expenditures.
But the two biggest drivers there were.
Basically,
no
you wanted
income
us to get
for
down,
Aloha Summer and no income for Founder's Day.
you wanted to get to a general expense number of 225. We brought it down from 250 something to 234. So we're 10,000 away from what this committee requested.
So you didn't mess with the expenses, you just did the.
I messed with expenses.
Yeah.
I did not mess with revenue.
Oh, okay, one side was table. All right.
Which again, there's still a push to try to get sponsorship for different things, correct?
Consistently,
So even though we're not budgeting for it, there could be a
you could have some,
positive
yes.
sponsorship for
There's-
some event throughout the year.
There's also additional partnerships that we're looking at next year for events as well. That should help offset some of the cost.
So is there anything in the discussion thus far that's gonna yield any money? Other than electricity, because I know electricity would be.
So in reviewing the cost saving measure document that you sent out, reducing home inspections from 4 a year to 3 a year would delay the need to hire an additional inspector by a year. So, well, by 6 months, because we were proposing having them start 6 months into the year, which gets you a savings of $30,914 in salaries. So that would
Is that
come.
reflected in that?
No, it is not. You would have some additional ancillary costs. I know there was commentary in here that there's 4 administrative support for inspectors. That's not accurate. There's 1 support position for the inspectors. That's the community standards administrator. The art coordinator has nothing to do with supporting the inspectors. And the compliance lead is not an admin support. He does his own inspections of condos, Canoa properties, townhomes, and he trains inspectors as well. And then Mike had asked what the inspectors do in December, because I had stated that we don't do inspection in this. We don't send violations in December. They do complaint inspections. They document all CROA parks and facilities for insurance purposes. So we have documentation of what they look like in case there's a loss throughout the year. And then they help with ARC completion inspections. Because the ARC coordinator just does not have the time throughout the year to review all the completed projects.
Now, that's still subject to approval of no inspections.
Mhm. Yeah. And each year we ask the board if we can not do initial inspections instead of violation.
So what do we have to do to get it down to 3?
Propose it to the board.
We can make a recommendation.
So back to the quantification. Going from 4 to 3 is a 25% reduction in work.
No, that's not a 25% reduction in work because you're adding additional doors in Island Village that we're not yet inspecting. All of phase 2 is not being inspected right now, but they will all be inspected next year. That's 280 doors.
Well, they're not built yet. So
I think you got next year that you can work through it. So you're recommending only the half position that we have in there. for
That
next
would,
year?
it would delay that. That's the only position we were requesting to add in community standards. Because right now we're at capacity in community standards.
The juice doesn't feel like it's worth a squeeze. Seems like it should be a lot more money. It's just, we're cut from 4 to 3 and
You will see some savings in your smart webs billables because you'll be sending initial inspection letters 3 times a year instead of 4 times a year, but it's hard to quantify because I don't know how many inspecting 3 times a year, we might catch more stuff. So you're gonna have more pages printed. It just depends on, that's why I said there's ancillary savings, but it's hard to quantify. You would see savings, but it's not gonna be a big one. You'll save in gas a little bit, but it does doing one less initial inspection doesn't do anything to the plethora of follow-up inspections that we have to do with all of the other initial inspections.
You have statistics on inspections completed versus violations found on a monthly basis and how that ebbs and flows.
It's pretty consistent.
Re-inspections is often a very high, it's very high and it's not reviewed on the initial inspections. When you reduce inspections, you leave a longer area, but more to build up, just more items on that inspection. Yes, it's caught in one inspection, but that's more items to go back and do a re-inspection on to see if they've been remedied.
And does Smart Webs have a electronic version that it could be sent rather than on paper?
Legally required to mail it.
someone commented on social media about the fact that HOA in Florida, you don't have to send it now. That you can do it automatically.
It's not.
Have you looked at it lately?
I deal with the legal enforcement of covenants regularly, because I'm the one talking to the attorneys about it.
Okay,
They always ask for a copy of.
if I see something else.
And send me a statute.
Lauren, what would happen if we did inspections in December? Don't give up the month and just do inspections in December.
You'll spread out the third quarter.
Can we have
the
less
fourth
people?
quarter.
Can we have less people? We pick up a month of productivity.
No.
That's a pretty quick no.
Because I'm condensing, I'm running the inspectors and then even Danica and the admin go out and inspect in October and November to meet the numbers required to hit it. And then December, the workload is drastically lower, which is why we utilize them for other things.
Maybe we should reduce it to twice a year.
I was thinking that myself.
I thought about that too.
Biannual.
Why?
This has got to be worth more than that, I think, but I'm not gonna argue it.
I think we should still do it.
I think 3 minimum.
$30,000.
What's the negative if we don't?
I think people will be happy that they're not getting as many inspections.
I said-
I mean, there's.
We do it as a pilot program for 1 year. If you don't like it, we'll go back.
Exactly.
Okay, venture, okay.
There's a halo effect for the residents. I said that before, but I think it should be worth more money. Okay, we're gonna back ourselves into a corner, but keep going.
But if you go 30,000 right now, then it comes in less, then that's a positive for next year.
How's it gonna come in less?
I thought you were saying that you were expecting more than 30,000.
I am,
Yeah, so.
but if we're structured to spend, if we're structured to spend X, you ever hear of Parkinson's law?
Yeah.
Work expands to fill the time allotted for completion. And it's gonna come out that way. It's gonna be structured that way, it's gonna come out that way. It's gonna be just right on time.
There's hard contractual metrics to make sure that they're moving and shaking every month. That's one of the metrics.
Good, I'd like to see the metrics then as they exist today and then what they exist next year.
They're reported on every month in the metric
We'll
packet.
look at it.
What is your number then that you're expecting, or that you were thinking?
Oh, approaching 100. I expected 1.5%. It's a 25% reduction, and we can open up the month
But
of
it's not
December.
25%.
I know, I heard you, I heard you. You got the expansion coming, I heard it. I
So
figured it was 1.5%. We have 6.5, we'll have 6.5 people, but we have 6.5 people budgeted.
So you're only thinking a half person's coming.
Right.
Mhm.
And 25% will be 1.5%. Be 1.5 people.
You would think, right?
but that's
Pretty
based on.
straight correlation.
If you're on 43, then.
But that's based on a status quo in the number of things I'm inspecting. I'm not staying status
Yeah.
quo. I'm adding stuff to do.
But that stuff isn't here yet.
It will be in 2026 or 2027.
When?
That's why we
The second.
That's why we structured it to start halfway through the year, because that's when we anticipate all of those inspections need to start. We're still gonna have to start inspecting 2A without an additional body and probably parts of 2B. And then we're asking to add a body.
Okay.
Since these are all new at 2A, do you really expect that much violations? Can you move that back?
Because they all put stuff on their home's exterior that are violations because they don't file an ARC application.
Put new stuff and then the art
They-
has to
they file-
document it all.
They put all their security cameras up and their Ring doorbells and they put their burn houses.
The big issue was the color of the fans on the
Yep,
porches.
fan.
That was a huge issue.
Porch swings, that's another one. Town and landscape architect, eliminating both and make it user play. I checked with other general managers in Real Manage, and a couple of them have a user pay model for those, so that's an option to consider as well.
How much is that? 25?
25,000, yeah.
But I would hope that we could, for, at least for Jeffrey, get this initiative we're working on now, get this finished this year.
Yes, and it's,
That's really a big, a
he's
good,
almost ready to present a
Right.
draft.
yeah,
So-
but then we could probably
So that
back
will
off
be-
of that and the landscape one too.
We gotta back off on it, yeah.
Huh?
I mean, we're paying for a few people till you do something, you know, we're all subsidizing that, it's not.
Right, but if we're under budget on it right now. Yeah. We got an initiative right now, we're working on, get that done,
Yeah,
and then we can back off for next year.
Yeah, so that's an option.
But to Mike's point though, it's a benefit for the homeowners, not a benefit toward Crow.
Well, they're not, the homeowners aren't meeting with Jeffrey. It's the committee asking for his consultation based on the homeowner's submittal. So basically, if the committee has to talk to Jeffrey because of your submittal, then you're paying that hourly fee.
Your expense is not going to change. It's just asking the board to create a new revenue source.
Yeah.
Yeah,
On taxing the ARC application process even more.
I'm good if you go the user process, right? Just take it off and the homeowner would pay
yeah,
for it.
it's got,
Personally, if you want Jeffrey, you pay for it, right, for next year.
Well, what I'm saying is you can't take it off the books because it's still an association expense because it's the committee asking for his consultation and not the owner, but you can require the owner to pay the bill as a revenue stream. So it essentially comes off the books and then at zero.
But they can't control what's asked of them now.
remember, there was a time a couple of years ago that we didn't have a Jeffrey or a, whatever the irrigation guy
From
is.
twenty
And the
twenty-two
word,
to
the
twenty
work
twenty,
got done.
from
Did
twenty
it get
twenty.
done or did this place look like hell?
I think ARC got organized a lot better.
From 22 to 24, you did not have a,
Right.
an architect.
Right.
Or, and halfway through 25.
Because again, I was
This is
saying
another
that-
one of those board things where there was an emotional thing one night and someone said, let's do it. And nobody thinks about the ramification. That's why we are at this point. Everybody makes emotional
That's the same
decisions.
reason for the original decision to let them go,
Well, what?
to let them go. There was an emotional response.
Oh, yeah, there was a problem in the neighborhood. Yeah, I remember that. I was here.
So what's the recommendation?
Kill it. I mean, anything that we can do, we gotta do.
There's another option of if you have it, because really they're only looking at Jeffrey for large structural changes. So the process for everything else stays the same, because I talked to other general managers about this, but they do have a tiered system of like, if it's a simple one, it's no fee to borrow an arc. If it's a middle range one, it's $10, whatever. If it's a large structural one, you're paying $100 for that filing because it takes more time for the committee and they might need a consultation with the.
More extensive. I mean, there's so many
Yeah,
pools.
they're the ones going to the meetings, there's the ones taking the staff time at the meetings and the architect time. So a tiered system might be an option as well.
What is his hourly rate? Yeah, and that'd be 200 for the larger one.
Yeah.
But then again, I think that's something where,
I mean, he's
you
reviewing,
almost use it as a security deposit and say, in the event we do,
Mhm.
we're gonna use it, but if we don't need to, then you get it back anyway.
he's, yeah, I mean, really, they'll look at it per the application. He's an advisor for the committee based on their request. It's just, like I said, do you want to create another revenue line? The expense is going to be the expense. Do you want to create a revenue line? Of an application.
For large structural changes.
Yeah. I would.
Why wouldn't we? I mean, we should be carrying an expense for 50 people on behalf of the entire organization. It's that simple. It's common sense.
So do we want to tie the
You're gonna-
application fee for large structural changes to 1 hour of Jeffrey's billables?
You guys figure out how to do it. I assumed that we would just eliminate it and tell those two they're not employed by us any longer, and if somebody wanted to use them, needed to use them, we would refer them to them, and they would pay Jeffrey direct. I don't know why we've got to be a
problem
middleman
is
running their business for them.
It's not them using
Yeah,
them,
it's
it's
the
the
committee.
committee using them to advise.
Because we do what you just said. That takes place.
So why don't we do that exclusively?
Because the committee still has questions sometimes and
But the committee says, I have an unanswered question. We have this architect available, just like anybody else. We have this architect available if you want to use him for 200 whatever dollars it is, or go find your own architect. That's the way you do a project.
but they're advising on how it fits in with your design guidelines. Not every architect is gonna have the experience and knowledge of your design guidelines and your pattern. book
And you
to
gotta
make
find one that's
recommendations.
got that. I did projects, I found one that had it.
That's exactly right.
I mean, you can't,
They're all certified architects. You gotta
yeah,
let them
he's
do their
got a
job.
business and you just he's gonna be your referral. And
So
you tell him he's on referral, you take it off our books and we don't get involved in the billing or
we can
nothing.
also get that committee's opinion on this as well. Because we can get the finances committee opinion on removing the architect as well as the ERC committee's opinion.
Or do a tiered.
And you can
That
almost
aside,
make it
case you go.
a requirement while it's submitted, right? Why can't the application have everything that's needed, so there's no question needs to be asked?
Right.
Why can't we do that in the front end?
Whoever's doing the job.
It's not that the
certifies it.
application doesn't have everything that's needed, it's this is a gray area kind of question.
So the real moving forward, if we were to move forward with adding a fee for
Yeah.
complex applications, is how that affects the budget is we don't have a baseline to know how many of those, I mean, we could.
You
estimate-
quantify from last year. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you want to be in the middle of it? Why do you want to be in the middle of it? Why not just refer people? The committee can say, this is a gray area. Here's a guy that can do it. He's familiar. This is what it's gonna cost you.
I would say it's like asking you to do this, but saying you can't speak to Lauren at all. Lauren's not here. So if Lauren's in the room, billable hour. Or advice on these community matters that this committee is looking at. Because
I don't understand.
No, we're saying you
I don't
can
get
speak
it.
to Lauren, or you can speak to someone else.
You speak to anybody you want, but it's gonna be a direct relationship,
It's like
just like it
freedom
would
of
be with any
choice.
other architect. They're overcomplicated.
But these are published guidelines. And someone's hired an architect to do his job. If he certifies he's meeting the guideline, what's the problem? I don't understand that.
The committee may have a different interpretation of the guidelines and the pattern book, and that's.
That's the problem.
And that's opinionated
Everything
then.
the committee's going.
Well, then the
through right
committee
now.
has to tell, the homeowner that this is what we think, and then they can appeal it. They can go get an architect and bring it in or whatever it might be. I mean, that's the way it works.
Basically, we're just taking away the committee's ability to help.
For me,
No, that's fine. I mean,
How many
that-
times?
personally, I'm up for attaching a fee to a large scale project. And that would defray the cost of that.
Because
And you could use Jeffrey or you don't use them. You use another, but we also maintain control.
it's not our business.
Aesthetically.
Person doing a project has to get an architect, has to get a builder, has to do all that stuff. We're just an oversight person.
They
We
do,
don't
they
wanna-
do have an architect, they do have a builder and all of that. They submit all of their required documents to the committee. The committee reviews it. The committee still talks amongst themselves and they still come to us and say, we would like Jeffrey's opinion on this aspect.
And instead, this time they go back to the homeowner and they say, we want an architect's opinion on this.
They already
Yeah.
have an architect's opinion because the architect submitted the application for this resident.
Okay, then we've got our own expert and he charges this and we need his opinion.
It might take actually more time and labor for for ARCs to deal with new people. When you can go right to Jeffrey and
Yeah.
deal with it.
But isn't this everything they're doing right now, try to clarify?
Yeah,
For the
we're
most part,
talking about
yes.
large scale.
Yeah,
project, big-
so.
We operated like this for a long period of time since the inception of Celebration. And then we added it in and then it went away.
When was it added in?
It wasn't there when I did my project, so it must have been after 2016, 17. It must have been added in probably 2020 or 2021, I guess, probably during COVID.
Because when I started, I was told that that's been there for years and years. And he sat with the committee as an advisory.
Jeffrey said an unpaid advisory person on the committee. He was a
No, he
member of
was
the
paid. It
committee.
was in the budget, he was paid.
I don't think so.
It's
So
been
what's
in
the
the budget.
committee's
lines for a while.
recommendation here? Is it to defund that line or to add a revenue line?
Both.
Yeah, do both.
That's a good one.
We want to get a twofer.
Super.
No.
I think remove is where we're at. I think
Remove.
the other
Remove.
revenue is still in discussion of what that looks like or whether we want to go there.
Remove it. Well, the board will decide. I know at least one other person is not gonna vote for that, but we can talk about it.
But I would be curious to know how many times Jeffrey is being put on. Again, I would think there's only so many things you need to get that place for.
Yep.
Right, and
Primarily is his time sitting in the ARC meeting. That's usually the primary for the billing. Is his hour or two
Right,
spent
but it's
in the ARC meeting as an advisor to the committee.
So he's sitting there for the whole meeting. For all the projects.
All the complex projects that the committee decided to review at a meeting instead of voting online.
Oh, okay.
Okay, moving on to park monitors and porters. The request was this is a specialization in activity that creates inefficiencies with travel time, vehicles effectiveness. Should we evaluate merging their roles? So they perform two different functions. They do have some overlap, mainly with addressing garbage bins that are overflowing. Park monitors, flip rooms, assist with rentals, assist with partner programs, check IDs, and assist with event prep and tear down and the running of the events. The porters clean all the facilities, gyms, restrooms, pool decks, empty trash based on square footage of existing facilities and the average number of square feet that it can be cleaned per hour. We technically need 4 porters and we have 3. And that's not counting a new facility or 2 new facilities potentially next year.
So the addition of a restroom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you explained again why it is the way it is, so.
That doesn't pull
I'm trying to tie it to actual industry standards in their industry.
The philosophy here is organizational dynamics. We can't have specialization. We're too small of an organization for that. We've got people chasing around in trucks or vans or nevs or whatever else going to the same locations. It could be doing the same function at the same time as opposed to having separate trips. Specialization is not good in this organization. It's too small. That's a principle. Now you have to figure out how to work it.
What are the schedules between a porter making visits and a park monitor doing visits?
You can
Quarters
change
are-
schedules.
Quarters are in the morning to mid-afternoon. Park monitors are in the mid-afternoon to evening.
So you're kind of breaking it up so you have coverage.
There's trash, so everything's cleaned and restocked and trash addressed in the morning by the porters. Everything is monitored, rooms flipped, everything trash checked again, locked up in the evening by the park monitor.
And these are full-time positions with EB?
Yes,
Is there any opportunities to break it up to part-time
we
roles?
used to have 7 part-time park monitors. And we could not qualify. And they were all ending up getting to the 30-hour mark, which qualifies you for benefits.
But it is 30.
30 hours is the new standard for when you qualify for benefits.
So there's nothing here. Okay, so I want the board to hear on this proposal, when you present things, the ones that we considered, that you've come to the conclusion that there's not an opportunity.
I will provide all of this stuff to the board. Parks and Rec and events, they're not siloed, they work as one, they are under one director. Both departments have reduced in size. You've gone from 7 park monitors at the 7 part-time at 30 hours to 3 full-time at just 40 hours. And the events team has gone from 3 to 2. So we've already done reductions in those departments over the years. Comms is definitely a full-time job. I think Dawn can.
Stop on Park and Rec.
Yeah.
We have 6 people there, right?
Parks and Rec.
And general events, there's 6 supervision, there's 6 co-employees.
Yes. I'm
There's a
saying that
director, 2
there's,
managers, a supervisor.
so you have the director of Parks and Rec who oversees the,
They have 2 direct reports.
who has the Parks and Rec supervisor who oversees the park monitors and the field coordinator. The field coordinator is dealing with CCFC on a full-time basis.
Yeah, but the director's got 2 direct reports.
Yes,
Okay, and the manager has 1 direct report.
yes. The events manager and the events supervisor, but they're just,
And layers in the organization spans 4 layers in the organization. It's not a good organizational structure. 1 person with 2 direct reports, 1 person with 1 direct report.
she has 1 direct report. She also manages all the camp counselors in the summer and all of the volunteers.
Look, I don't have the right answer for you because I'm not close enough to it. But just functionally, I can tell you it's not a good organizational structure, and I challenge you to come up with something that's better.
I can tell you that we have reorged at that department. How many times, Jacob, since you started? 3?
You
We
think a
could-
director should have 2 direct reports?
I only have 3 direct reports.
It's 1 more than this person.
That's a board
Manager has
conversation
1.
with Demetrius.
Yeah, that's a
That's
board.
not a
conversation.
finance committee's conversation.
That's a cop out. Go ahead, move on.
Well, just along those lines though, with those different roles, is there tasks that should be merged or not?
We've merged as many tasks as we can.
And are all those employees at capacity?
We are working with 1 employee who is not meeting expectations.
Is that the thing? And then you can have all the tasks, and then do you have the appropriate number of people? Then you lead into the structure, which you can determine that. We don't go find there, but is the workload appropriate for the size of the group?
Yes.
It seems like a little bit, but for the most part, it's all fine.
They're still getting overtime with events at some point. Comms is definitely a full-time job. Don can attest to that based on his time on the communications committee.
How often have we had a full-time communication person?
That was stripped out in 2024. You had it, so when Parks and Rec and Lifestyles were two separate departments, the lifestyle director was also the comms manager. That worked when JR was here because he had a special set of skills of both managing the events and doing the comms. It was not a successful endeavor in anybody else in that position.
Who's the director in the Parks and Rec?
Thank you.
Did Dickie do the comms?
No.
Should we have a person in that role that can do both?
It needs to prioritize community governance over events while it does both. It needs to prioritize the governance.
We're also communicating a lot more in a lot different channels than we were previously.
Okay,
I know you don't like my answers, but I'm telling you how the organization runs.
I haven't heard a single time that said, we haven't figured out how to do it yet, but we're gonna look at it and we're gonna try to figure it out.
Because we sit in the back there and do that on a regular basis.
Okay, next.
IT administrator, yes, it is a full-time job. You have 45 staff members that it supports. It also supports these meetings. Most of the internal ticketing and the network stability.
Have you had discussions with the IT group as to their budgeting expenses?
We reduced their expenses, yeah.
Yeah.
What,
That was way, that was.
it was like
$34,000.
$34,000 it went down.
No, I noticed that. I just glad you had a discussion with
I didn't talk to them.
Oh, just got
I
it. You just did.
Well, don't let them spend.
Insurance deductibles and self-insured is in process. I actually talked to your rep this week and he said he's having those conversations and he's prepared to come to a meeting in late August, early September with you guys to talk about that.
Great. Can we get any guess from him at this point?
I think he wants to go talk back and forth with you guys before he gives you a
When's he coming in?
end of August, beginning of September. They're still not deep in the bid out of this because your renewal is until December. They'll be thick in the middle of a bid out in end of September, beginning October.
We've got a 20% increase, 471.
We penciled that in because of the 24% increase last year. We're worried about the apartments not providing the COIs, but I do have 2 in hand, 1 coming, 2 working on it, and 1 non-responsive.
Who's not responsive?
Delmar.
Really?
Any particular reason?
You can
Pressure on
You
him,
deal with
council.
people in Massachusetts? That own it?
We've been talking, so we started with the ownership when they were none of them were responsive when we started with ownership. So then we went to the general managers and said, this is gonna be a you problem when your residents can't come and use our facilities. And they're the ones getting this stuff.
Okay.
It's the Delmar GM that's not being responsive right now.
Yeah. That GM is here.
Yeah. But Windsor gave us their COI, which that was the one I was worried about.
I'll stop into Delmar if you'd like to.
Windsor, Astoria, and then Evander and Emerson are working on theirs. So, and we have Culver's as well.
No, I'm serious. I mean, because I was in Delmar for 8 months.
Oh, yeah.
While our house was being built and yeah, I know a lot of people there. So if you don't mind.
Yeah, if you
I'd
can
like
have
to-
them call me.
Yeah,
Talk to
all right,
me.
I'll talk. I'll stop in there.
Has it been you who's been calling him, or do we need,
I reached out and Tanika's made physical visits as
we need
well.
to take it up higher than have an attorney, or, I mean, we're that point, yeah?
No, not yet. We still have 6 months. So.
Hey,
Going back to,
Off topic, I want to just real quick. The hotel's being built behind Delmar. Is that being worked on or is that dead? I was gonna drive back there today and I didn't.
I haven't seen movement out there. in
Yeah,
a
I don't
while.
think there's anybody on the construction site. I'll try to do it tomorrow.
I haven't
Wow,
seen
it's-
movement out there.
I mean,
There's a block out
whole
now.
foundations there.
Yeah, but there's no activity.
No,
There's no trucks going back there or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's surprising.
Yeah, no, it's supposed to
Around
open.
here.
They've been
Last year.
hot, cold, this whole, like, multiple times now in this
Well,
project.
it's, when Mattamy was doing Island Village, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden you wouldn't have any roofers, you wouldn't have any construction people. And it would take another 2 or 3 weeks for them to find somebody else to start working it.
Well, that project's been advertised for about 4 years, maybe 5, and now it's kind of stopped dead. I don't know who owns it or what's going on, but just so we know, you might check into what's happening.
It's like that elevation
Well, they
project.
wouldn't pay they wouldn't pay apartment rec fees or anything.
I know, but it's just a building that's starting to be built.
Yeah.
On a lot that are urban.
Just jumping back to IT, so physical security for digital IDs was 12,000. Is that supporting those structures or is that the actual cost to buy those?
It's fixing broken ones and supporting.
So it has nothing to do with the revenue that's coming in with it, because I didn't see any digital ID number.
It's in the admin fee. Yeah,
The current sales? Yes.
winterizing the pools was another idea. We looked into this. It would involve lessening pump running time to about 4 hours a day, reducing chemical usage and reducing cleaning to about once a week. But it's also recommended to have a pool cover in place while you do that as well. We currently don't have pool covers for anything except for Lakeside. So that would be an additional expense that would have to be, at least for the first year.
We also wanted to know, we do, well, of course, the pool use is abysmal in those months on non-heated pools. The deck use remains consistent with what going out there. And the decks would have to be closed if the pool is closed. So it would just be one of those impacts.
So if you want us to try to put some hard numbers to those, we can continue to do that, but we're just figuring out what would look like for commercial.
What range would that be in?
That's why I say I'd have to get numbers from
10,000,
Ecolab.
50, 100?
Up to 30
Probably.
in the best case.
chasing.
Yeah.
That's worth chasing.
And the investment would be in pool covers, would have to be made.
It's that's the recommendation from the research that we've done.
And that would leave the decks to be open.
No, you cannot have a pool cover with a deck open.
And but that would have been
Must be a
compensated with the liability insurance.
you have liability
potential
insurance.
tax, increases, 'cause the pool cover, oddly enough, putting a cover on the pool increases your risk of.
Yep. Somebody plans something stupid.
Doesn't mean,
Gonna cross it.
yeah, but it doesn't mean people won't do it anyway, right?
East Village Pool.
It's like the kids were at the Island Village pool the other night and about 9
It's
o'clock.
just the thought, maybe, you know.
Yeah, no, we can
Half
try,
hour
we
before
can
dusk.
try to put hard numbers to
And
it.
climb over the fence.
So that's in the.
Plus wear and tear on the equipment too.
Closing the splash pad from January to mid-February was another recommendation or a thought. Yeah, you would realize some chemical savings and water usage.
And then your parents, but.
Is there a separate valve you can turn that off from the lakeside pool?
Yes.
Yeah, they're separate.
The whole system.
But even if we have an agreement, we'll have savings on the chemicals.
Sports courts delaying the opening till Q1 of 2028. Management would second that as a recommendation because it would also delay the need for one of the park monitors and could potentially delay the additional quarter.
There's 10,000 in the budget for.
I just-
And there's $7,000 again for the,
As
so
a
not
person
only,
on master planning, I just.
you're saving a full-time salary and benefit for a park monitor, you're delaying hiring of a porter 6 months, and you're saving the 10,000 that we have in the, as a build out.
Okay, so it's 10,000, and then what's the other? The porter would be delayed?
A full-time park monitor would be delayed. That's what, probably about 50 a year,
Apart,
a park monitor,
yeah.
50 a year.
Yeah.
And-
the porter,
And then the porter would be a half a year savings at probably about 30-ish.
those would come back in 2028.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's if we don't,
If you delay opening the multifunction courts until January 2028.
which is a problem, seeing that we just sent out the RFP. And
Well-
we're gonna get bids back in the fall. If we tell them they can't start building till.
If you can start building, then we won't open, right?
What's the then you'd have residents.
Oh, you were ready? Yeah.
Why is it
Big
that
projects.
the multipurpose courts require a porter and a park monitor?
It's not
Still have
just-
Island Village coming on.
I'm saying delaying them. I'm delaying them further.
Don't negotiate down, leave it. We got big money on the table right now, just.
Oh.
sit
We're-
back.
I
we're-
Relax.
No,
I don't
Andrew,
see, I don't,
the-
regardless of
the
when that
answer-
thing is done, I don't see why the
Rationale's not
capacity
there
for
for
the.
you.
The
park
answer
and
is
court
we're
gets
still
it.
gonna stretch capacity with Island Village Phase 2 Amenity Center, but we are going to bend and stretch the capacity there, and because we're saving quite a bit of work in the multifunction courts.
Which again, I guess that's another thing of a capacity model of all the porters and park monitors at capacity.
Your
Will they be
porters,
at capacity when Island Village? comes on?
yes,
Yes. So the real
That's long.
recommendation would be to add a full, or add the porter at the start of the year, but by trying to extend it out.
I know, but I'm just thinking oversimplification, but if I have a porter, I can do 4 parks. So how many parks do you have, or amenities
it's
centers?
by porters, it's how many square feet you can clean in an hour. We've done that analysis. And we need, currently with our existing facilities, we should have 4, but we have 3.
Okay. Before we have.
We're trying to make it work.
This is the best one I've heard the whole afternoon. Courts, 2020, $90,000.
I'm bending where I
I don't
can.
know how that can.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe the reasoning behind it, but.
No. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, first of all, the sports court, I mean, if they start building them in the beginning of 2027, and you have pickleball courts ready to be used by, let's say, the third quarter, and you say, oh, we're not gonna open them until January.
Nobody's authorized the build yet. We're just.
You just
bidding.
moved the bill back, Jim.
I don't-
Just moved the
I
bill
know, but
Summer.
if we go back to the people bidding by early September and say, oh, yeah, we're not gonna have you start until the third quarter of next year, they're gonna say, we're gonna withhold our bid, we're gonna take our bids back because we don't know what the races.
This is
will be.
uncommon and with a delay. They'll have to freshen them up. They're probably good for 90 days. And they'll have to freshen them up and they'll just look at them real quick, let all the diligence done. They'll just do a materials calculation, their labor.
I know, but if the prices start going up,
It's cost us more in the long run.
then you can't put up pickleball courts and then not use it because the residents are gonna go nuts.
No, you would delay in construction. So it came in at the end of the year probably.
We don't know how long it's gonna take to construct them, do we?
No, until we get the.
So we'll see what the bids are,
Let's see what
the
exactly.
timetable is.
Well,
Look at
that was
6
always
months.
the discussion with the board, is let's get the numbers back and see the
Right.
construction timeline
Yeah.
before we decide,
Before we
are
lock
we
in.
gonna build them now or are we gonna build them later?
And if we build, because if we build a model that goes to the community that's more acceptable by taking this out and doing some other things, then we can always make a decision to do something if we're doing really well next year when the time comes. Might be able to accelerate or whatever else.
Well, then we certainly don't need the 250,000 going into the capital fund for next year.
I've got some that I'll show you in a few minutes.
Well, I'm sorry, but I mean, if we're not gonna be doing capital projects,
But we don't have the RON, we don't have the estimate, or the cost of the project.
I know.
I think you're right. I don't think the 250 is gonna go there. I'll give you a suggestion.
Review the schedule, preventative maintenance projects and determine what can be delayed by a year. A lot of these are reserve expenditures, but we can continue to reevaluate.
Yeah, that
operating.
was the idea, like, is there the rough scheduled, can we delay it a year? I mean.
We delay reserve projects regularly where we can. There's probably some in-house painting projects that we can delay and things like that, that we will consistently and continue to reevaluate with the team. So those were all the that were on.
One other one I want to talk about, the master fee schedule that we talked about.
Mhm.
So you saw the communication, the lawyers came back and said, yeah, they have the right to make changes, from time to time. Still, my belief that, and I talked with Don about this, my belief that the master fee schedule was never attached to the contract and it falls under an undisclosed fee. that we're just getting undisclosed fees that are there. We're aware of them now, we discovered it, but they're undisclosed fees, so to speak. The thing that we talked about was we'd like to have management quantify what this is, because if we're gonna consider chasing and go to the board and say, we'd like you to do something, we need to know what we're chasing. Is it worth it? So Don and I talked and thought maybe this committee would recommend to the board that we get management to quantify what's being charged on those fees on an annual basis, so we know what we're talking about before we consider any other steps.
Isn't that one of the spreadsheets you sent out
Yeah,
today? Yeah,
I didn't see it.
you sent out this afternoon.
it's gonna be this file. This end of this afternoon. So you'll see here all the invoices from last year up to June of this year. All the details are gonna be here for each invoice, and then here you have a summary per month of what you're.
So how much money is there, Ray? Give me the bottom line.
You gotta remember, some of it's also billed back to the owner that caused the fee.
Yeah. So all in for 2025 was $131,000. Billed back to the clients was out of the 131. Billed back to the client was $96,000. And then for this year, which you'll see the account statements that didn't activate it here in February 2026. Up to June, you have $90,000, $91,000.
How much billed back?
Bill back 53.
So the amount that Crow is having as an expense is the spread between the numbers, right?
Correct. And you'll have that line at the bottom, $37,000. You'll have the grand total, the bill back to the owners, and
Yeah.
the total excluding the bill back.
In the current year so far, it's been $40,000, $38,000 or something. And then last year it was $35,000, right?
Last year, excluding the bill backs, 35, yes.
What's the?
So your big delta this year is the.
So you know.
Charged.
What is the charge in that? You could come to me talk to that. About 25, but I read somewhere it's $2.71.
So that's making up the other 23,000.
That's
Right.
That 14,000 is for account statements, but the difference is 37,000.
Very smart with the
delta?
delta, about 25.
I'm sorry.
The account statements for the new, that's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're showing that that's
That was
14,000.
the increase.
Yes.
It was about
The
25.
difference is 37.
Whether it's charged.
It wasn't being
They didn't
charged.
choose it last year?
No, from the bottom line here, right? Excluded and paid to us, right? You just said 37,000 is the bottom line.
Talked about.
Yes. Or was not billed
So
back.
what
other fees are in there besides council?
Instead of 40.
So you'll see here, everything that says bill back to the clients, you don't have to pay for it. The other ones are gonna get charged.
So smart mode should already be budgeted for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's it.
It's on the IT budget.
Recruitment fee should be in there too, right?
Mhm.
So what mile is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the reimbursement of the mileage.
What's the big numbers in billing back? So what makes up that 91,000? What kind of categories that's billing back? to
Collection
Just
notices.
collection notices.
Yeah. Conveyances, referrals,
And those,
owner
how much
referrals.
those amount to on an annual basis? Are those $100,000? Collection notices, like the lawyer fees?
No, that's us
yeah,
sending
and-
them another notice saying, hey, you owe us money, hey, you owe us money, here's your NOLA letter. You're going to the attorney now.
And how much are each one of those letters?
I think they get charged, they get charged 35 a month?
For collections?
Yeah,
It'll be.
35.
Oh, 35, okay.
Yeah.
That's a pass through.
And that's the pass through. So Crow gets charged 35
Yeah,
and it's passed through to,
Yeah, it's just making up that 91,000 or
Yeah.
131. That's making a much smaller number here.
So if,
We've got a lot of activity there then.
Yeah.
Is it trending up with, or?
Oh, and here, this is a good one because here you'll see the error that was caught.
Mhm.
So we were getting charged double basically for the collection notices.
That
This is where the
credit got back.
30,000.
That's that 30,000 that came back?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
It was a one-time thing.
Well, it happened, the reimbursement is retroactive from 2025, yes. So
What is that smart website? What else are we getting charged for on that?
Smart Webs, that's your per door fee and the $1.25 mailing per mailing fee.
But it's
Smart Web bills
$2.71.
Real Manage and
and a monthly fee that we're
Did you-
getting.
Real
make the
Manage
changes
passes
in
it to
that?
the association.
Changes?
We
Smart
already
Web,
have our smart web line item that accounts for that.
yeah, that's built to that.
So then why are you gonna be projecting 37,000 when 13,000 is already accounted for on our expense for smart webs?
Sending the.
The account statements here, if you highlight that row again, is only 14,000.
Mhm.
So why are we doing an account statements of 36,000 when only 14 of that is account statements?
Smart Webs is different than account statements.
One's covered.
I'm saying,
It's just.
the bottom row, right? Do January through June.
This one, what's billed back to the owner?
What Crow paid, the
What
difference,
crop?
right?
This,
Oh, the
yeah,
net.
the
So that's
37.
37,000, right?
Mhm.
And then,
The account
so
statement
you're
is
just doubling
14.
the account statements, then do the account statement line.
The account statement line is gonna be 15.
14.
14.
That's 14 through half the year, so you're saying 28, but then you're saying it should be 36 based on new homes coming in?
You're saying for this year for the
Or no,
forecast?
no, for
For the
2027 budget.
the variable billing for the 27 budget?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was based on additional doors and the average number of statements that we send out, and then the average of the monthly
Yeah.
variable bill.
And we really don't send any out in January or December.
The thing is that they send
We're not talking
the,
about violations, we're talking about statements.
yeah. So every quarter you get a bulk of the statements sent out.
People are getting paper statements.
And then on a
Yeah,
monthly
you say it's
basis, if you still have a balance past due, then you'll get an additional statement.
Okay,
Like
so
a
the
reminder.
delinquents there.
Yeah, that's why you see April.
So it's
lower,
about 7,000
May
every
lower.
quarter.
Yes, correct.
She can charge for it.
And then you get hit.
That's what I think. We
After
tried
April,
to
you get hit with a big one.
we said it was stupid.
You automate that once.
Yeah.
You know,
We
Jacob's
agree.
the one,
Those
that-
is open.
we bought.
Yeah, I'm the one doing the approvals again.
That's
Not even them.
stupid.
Alongside
Regular.
this file,
You should see my emails
Yes.
and my text messages.
we also
I got it,
share,
Ray. I got it.
okay, we also share the OT costs from 2024 up to year to date for our CJC, and we also share the detailed breakdown of what was included in the truck expenses.
So this is a 35,000 to 40 or $50,000 expense to Crow with these fees.
That was not in the contract.
It wasn't a contract. Mike does not feel like it is. It is a contract.
Where's it in the contract? Where's it?
It talks about it.
It says you can charge fees. It doesn't, and then they're supposed to be on exhibit B. And there's no exhibit
It
B.
says, and the master fee schedule.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't say a master fee schedule.
Okay, I'm not gonna argue about this anymore. The board wants me to continue talking about it with the attorneys. I will continue talking about it with the attorneys, but you've already gotten a legal opinion from your attorney. We don't have a dog in this fight. We don't see a penny of it, so between you and
So I told the
That's how
group,
you feel.
Well, it makes you guys mad, which comes back to us, so we don't like it either.
well, it's not about
Hey,
being
let's
mad.
talk.
It's
Well-
about correct process, and it's not in the contract and it's not referenced any place at all. That's a fact of life. It's there, black and white. But I would say after I told you about it and want to see what size it was, I don't think it's worth chasing for $35,000 or $40,000. I thought it might be a much bigger number. It is, but a lot of it's getting charged back. So I would recommend that we just pass on.
the only new charge that you're seeing this year is the statements, because they weren't being charged previously.
And that's all of our cost. That's the 36,000 or so that we're
No,
charged.
there's also, pre-employment background checks, recruitment fees, rush payment charges, mileage charges,
Yeah.
FedEx tracking, yeah.
The only thing that's really material
The
is that.
consistent one is the statements.
As far as
Is there a way we could convert those to a charge for a pass through? The customer?
You can if you want to, it's the board's decision. adding an extra,
That'd be $100,000 a year, basically. It's 96,000 last year. This year it's gonna be,
it promotes
53,000 so far.
prepayment of assessments. Cause if you don't get a statement mailed to you, you don't get billed.
Which on the account statements, if you get them electronically, it's still a charge.
So $1 something.
But I think you guys are not getting charged for the electronic ones.
You didn't see any of those
No.
services? Okay.
Doesn't
Say
make
that
any
again?
sense.
why don't you add that to our list for the board? That we could charge the residents for the account statements, bill back them for the account statements, and we could pick up roughly $100,000 a year.
$40,000.
Yeah.
We have 30. We're estimating 30 for this year.
Okay, so that's the big
That's
one.
half
Where's
the year.
it? So 96,000, what's the
Well, here
other
we have
big part?
15.
Oh, that's
We're
the.
estimating
Oh,
this
sure.
year.
Yeah.
That's it,
And
that's
those
another
are already
piece. Okay,
It's basically
36,000. 37.
that Crow is gonna pay.
Anybody want to pursue this at all? Know what it is? Okay.
It just bake it into whatever the deal is. That's what it covers. I think separate.
I guess the good news is, previous years, you didn't charge for the mailings, right?
Their error in not billing was not retroactively requested.
That would have been because, yeah.
And we're not saying that you charge us, we're saying, I don't know.
Don't tell.
Okay, yeah. Please don't tell.
Well, I guess negotiation would be if you have someone set up in an auto payment. There's no requirement for a statement, so there's no need for Grand Managers to charge and you're gonna get it paid. So would Grand Managers be willing to waive those fees in those scenarios? And then you can push behavior into electronic rather than paper.
Right.
That's what it has.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
Who we're looking at.
Often the response is your association's getting charged less than others are, like that, but.
I
Doesn't mean we can still.
I have
yeah.
my auto draw from
Can you
my
articulate
banking
again?
account, so.
I'm gonna say on ACH.
Here's why.
If you're an electronic,
I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah, if you're on ACH.
a resident doesn't
don't
get
charge for
charged,
statement.
but if you want a paper statement, it's gonna cost. Resident.
Well, not that it costs, but it's. That Grand Manager should be charging us. If I'm an ACH, Grand Managers is handling everything, there shouldn't be a statement charge.
So ballpark, what do you think we have in terms of? The board's got to make a decision, but what do we have here as potential?
I think you're looking at the reduction of inspections and potentially delaying the multifunction court construction
The architect.
and the architect.
Well, realistically, right, architects are 25,000
That's
and then
145,000.
50,000 for your inspections.
That's 145,000, those three items. And then we've got the electricity that's gonna come down to whatever number.
And insurance is still a higher number, right?
Insurance has still probably got some potential on it, based on what we do with deductibles and self-insured.
How many points does that shave up?
Oh, just off the top, without electricity, that's almost 200, yeah, 200 basis points, 80, about 80 basis point.
Take out the 250.
Oh, if you go with the other way, you get to.
Well, at 250, I think you keep it in there, but should that be going operating that capital? Right, but
No,
I think this year, right, we're gonna be down 150 for your projection. I'm gonna say 200,000. That's almost to pay back the prior year that we're thinking the next year.
I'm sorry, why are we saying that?
250 has to think.
Because there's about a
Well, if it-
200,000 shortfall because of
So
taxes
that
that we.
means operating's not paying it to have. So they get to keep it.
that's correct. The 250 right now is to recapitalize the operating account. Look at your sheet there. Remember, this year right now, we got a $380,000 deficit. So our cash is gonna continue to burn. We're burning. Okay? On a monthly basis, the remainder of the year, the 300 we need to burn, we will burn yet. That's $50,000 a month burn rate. So we're not stable yet by any stretch, and we gotta get stable next year. So this is a balance sheet roadmap. So this is getting us back to a decent liquidity spot that we can pay our bills and Ray doesn't have to borrow from capital any longer. And it takes some decisions to be made. So right now we got 250,000 in the budget. And that's money that's gonna go straight to operating, not to capital. Okay, everybody got that? So that 250 is in there, going in there. I'm suggesting we put another 250 in there, and that's what we talked about, some of us talked about previously. So you'd have 500,000 going into the operating fund that would be collected over 2027. You don't get that in day one, you don't get it in a lump sum, but monthly that would go in there to provide liquidity to the operating fund. We have a $642,000, this is from July, due to capital, we would forgive that. That's, let me finish. Because they're never gonna be able to pay it back.
Well, I know, but that's money that was earned from capital fees to go into the capital fund for future capital amenities and investments.
But they can't pay it back.
Yeah,
they can. No, we budget for zero every year. How would you ever pay that back? We haven't hit a zero budget yet.
They got the money. Most of that is because your headquarters company didn't recognize that those fees had been.
No, we're
Provide-
not making the
I will-
transfer because there's not money in operating to make the
I will
transfer.
say
It's
the
not because
forgiveness
the
as
fees
of
weren't
right
collected.
now.
The forgiveness piece
And that's what
that,
he's saying, that we can't pay back.
the
I
forgiveness
disagree.
piece
I
that's
disagree.
involved is
But Jim,
in 2025, we budgeted for a full year of Mattamy assessments. We did not receive 275,000. That 275, I think, is appropriate for forgiveness because that's never going to be collected unless then you create another assessment on the homeowners to make that back. So that 275, I would support that. That's forgiveness. That's dead. We're never going to see it. Then how do you get up to the 380? I need a little more
yeah,
talking where you're at there.
yeah, you're never gonna pay any of this back because we budget for a break even, not a plus, not a deficit. And we have a history of producing deficits. So you can't pay from one fund to another when the fund you're gonna pay from is operating at a deficit. And we're gonna be there. It's not gonna change. So I'm saying this is a reset year. You write the whole thing off, just be done with it. We're gonna have an operating loss this year of 380,000. I'm buying into Ray's numbers. That's what it is, 380,000. So in the operating fund, if we write that off, less the operating loss this year, you got a $262,000 net gain in operating at the end of the year, okay? Just from those two transactions. The grand total then is the 500,000 that we would put in 2027, 500,000.
Where are you putting this from? So you're saying you're putting it into the operating fund, which gets all the money from the dues
Yeah, so right now you got 250,000 budgeted.
to go to capital.
No, to go to operating.
From where?
To be a capital allocation, but it does go into operating.
It's gonna go into operating.
Mike is suggesting that the $250,000 that we put in there as a payback to capital.
Yes.
He's suggesting that that be a contingency fund.
Not a contingent fund,
No.
liquidity.
You can't call it that. You can call it a contingency fund.
All you're doing is taking it
Or
off. the
non-profit,
income
is that what you're saying then?
Then you're a 720
Yeah, it's
organization.
more of a
and you call
balance
it a contingency.
transaction.
Okay,
not a
contingent.
cash.
Okay.
You gotta be able to pay our bills, it's part of the
Getting
coverage
the
ratio.
capital to stay in operating. Right?
Remember the,
Just stay with me for 1 second, Jim, to
That's
the
what you're
end.
saying.
Stay with me to the end, then we'll go back, okay? So if we have 500 and 262, that totals 762, okay? In terms of relief for the operating fund, all that's going to operating fund, just for a moment, accept that.
What do you mean going to it?
It's gonna get credited to the operating fund.
It doesn't, it's not creating cash.
I know, it's eliminating a liability and there's gonna be cash monthly deposits into operating as you move through 2027.
From where,
Dues.
From the P and L where we've got 250 already budgeted
right?
to go there and another 250.
I'm totally confused. I mean, the dues go into the operating fund.
That's what
This-
he's saying.
This isn't a, go ahead.
No, I don't understand.
This
what
is
you're
a,
saying.
look at your P and L and you'll see a line in it for 250,000.
I know that. And I,
He's saying increase that to 500 and don't kick it to capital, leave it in operating.
that makes no sense.
Okay. I'll tell you why it makes sense. Let me finish the last portion.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, good. So 762,000, that's a grand total at the end of the year that we get relief from if we have a break even in 2027. If we don't have a break even, that will be eroded, but that's the relief we would get for the operating fund. In the July balance sheet, I showed you that we needed 717,000 to get to a 1.2 current ratio. Okay, this would give $762,000 of relief towards that. This would get us to that 1.2 ratio, so we pay our bills and we have liquidity in the operating fund.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything for the capital fund, but we're gonna be taking money and have a receivable from the capital fund going back and forth, and that's never gonna get paid. We reset, we go forward, and we get break.
I understand that you want to reset that, which is probably gonna eliminate the master planning committee, but anyway. No, because people are gonna quit.
Why did they quit? Because they don't have enough money?
Well, because they
We're
know
putting
the
a million
capital
into-
fees were provided to the operating
You're
fund.
still
and they
getting-
don't send
Yeah,
it.
we had
From
mismanagement.
the resales.
I know.
It'll build back. And you know what? We had mismanagement that we
But
gotta
I
correct.
still don't understand. I understand taking the 250 out of the budget that we say are going to capital because that money's gonna stay in operating.
But that's not enough.
He's saying increase that to 500.
How? Where are you
They
gonna,
put another line item. So right now, if we take these items out that we found,
where are you gonna get the other 250 from?
I'm gonna tell you right now. These other items we're gonna take out, or the 1941, you're gonna take out, you're gonna take down probably another 2 to 3% based on electricity being added into that number. You're gonna be at let's call it 16 just for round numbers, okay? And we'll add in the 250, we'll put 3 points back on it. So we're gonna be able to produce a budget with 500 in there. It'll probably be about 19 point something.
The fees are not going down.
Fees are gonna stay at 19 probably with the savings we have here, and we're gonna be able to put.
Within the savings that we talked about tonight, to recapitalize.
This is moving balance sheet items around.
I just totally disagree.
But the whole.
I think taking the 250 out makes a lot of sense and just leaving it there.
Reducing the increase
Take 250 that was gonna go to capital.
of the allocation.
The allocation, just take that out.
Then you're
He's
gonna
saying
have,
Don't do anything
he's saying
else.
Leave 250 in there, but don't kick it to capital, leave it in operating as a
Well,
contingency
that's
fund.
where it goes, it stays in operating instead of going to capital. So the money's there.
Not if you don't budget for it.
Yeah. But we're still.
Right.
calling it-
Zero
we're
out
still
that.
calling
You
it
see it. I mean,
allocation to capital.
But the operating is already 600,000 behind.
I know, I'm not talking about that right now. I'm just talking about the two.
you have to, it's all bundled together.
Bundled
together. I don't understand how you're saying on a financial statement that the money that's already in operating,
It's not in operating, we're budgeting for it next year.
It's an expense item, but we have no
It's an
expenses to
expenditure
pay.
we're budgeting for next year, that the expenditure
Raise the
says
dues.
it's going to capital. He's saying instead of budgeting for it to go to capital, budget for it to stay in operating. So instead of a due to capital repayment, it's a contingency fund line budgeted as 250 right now. He wants to budget it at 500.
totally disagree.
It does.
Just to keep dues up?
No, to straighten out the mess we
You
have.
can explain it to the residents why
He's
there's a
talking about so we get
500,000.
to a
contingency.
liquidity basis where you're at a better financial footing.
And Jim, I
Because
think we can,
technically, in the HOA world, you should have at least 1/4's worth of operating expense balance in your operating fund at all times. We are not running on that right now.
Scary.
Well, we've not run on it for a long time.
3 to 6 is the.
Six is better.
We've been sucking out of, capital for a long time, built up to 600,000. If we have a $300,000 loss this year,
No, that money did not come out of capital. It was just never provided to capital.
No, we borrowed money from
Oh,
capital
no,
at the end of
no,
last year.
no,
We transferred out of
the due
capital.
from
That got
is,
paid back.
no, we have a due from. No, we have a due from.
Was 100,000,
200.
200?
Yeah.
200 is
allocation.
I would be more inclined in major process.
So this is a, I mean, on paper.
2025,
the dollar amount is a
We have
reduction
500,000 allocated to capital.
from.
We didn't get the 275 from that.
Yeah, it moved up, but.
Proceed with that, wipe off 275.
But we're not increasing.
This year, we're at 275 for capital.
It's a stable line.
Depending on how the end of the year goes, maybe there's a secondary one, but at this point, we don't do that yet. And I get that you're sprinting to that 1.2, which we should get to, but maybe there's a little bit more.
But
information to
this
get
is that
from
window
you.
of, this is that window of opportunity that we can, I think, get under 20% with where we're sitting right now with the budget. Put 500 away to get liquidity and write that off and we're clean.
Right,
And now we'll see when the budget, we'll get everything worked up in the budget and Ray comes back with electricity. But I think we'll be able to fund it and be under 20%.
So
What the fuck?
the another way that we talked about doing it was, and it would kind of back off the impact to 27, but would impact the 26 budget is you could potentially stop doing the resident contribution to capital for the remainder of this year and you'd reduce your expected, windfall.
yeah, from saying you clean up 2025,
Doing it,
2026, you clean up at the end
it's
of the year.
sliding the scale to start it
I
at
don't-
26 instead of 27, but it's another option
And
that
then
we discussed.
while we look at electrical, and we'll look into it, but I would caution about running too conservative on electrical and keeping that money that you're saying as a contingency, moving it out of a flat move contingency and keeping it in electrical. If electrical comes down lower or comes in low, then it comes in low and basically at the end of the year does the same effect.
Well,
That's
we
what it
need to
does.
be realistic. So we
Well,
have to
I
have
agree.
we have to have fact-based decisions made on electrical based on kilowatt hours and everything else. We just come up with these numbers. If,
I agree.
Lauren,
The difficulty.
Go back to the capital fee.
And building, we don't have.
The residents
you know,
voted
you got the usage.
the capital fee to go at 0.5%.
That is
Go to the
going,
capital fund.
Which all that is.
that is going.
Right. You're saying we'll stop sending it to
No,
capital?
I said the resident contribution, not the 0.5%, the
275,000.
resident contribution, the 275.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
that
okay,
line.
I'm sorry.
No, I was saying
misunderstood.
to accomplish what Mike's trying to accomplish, but sliding the timeline of when it's being accomplished to partway through this year. What we talked about internally was that's a way to offset
That'll
any.
take some pressure off the increase for next year.
Yeah, that and it addresses some of the deficit run this year by
That I
keeping,
don't have a problem.
that was just one, because Mike had emailed and said, well, how are we gonna address this overrun? And we saw that as the biggest lever we can pull, or you guys can pull, is a recommendation that we stop the resident contribution at the capital fund,
Okay.
not the resale contribution.
I don't have a problem with that. If we then can just do like you say, take the intercompany down 275 and leave the rest. And then let's get through 2027.
Yeah, no, the resident contribution to the capital account that comes as a path through, we've never discussed as not putting that in capital from the home sales.
And if you don't want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
resell,
There's been delays because of cash flow, but it's all going.
I just misunderstood.
That's okay,
Yeah, that's all I said.
We're talking about the.
Yeah,
resident.
just the 275.
just that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause that gets you 130. If you do it for half a year, but you're not contributing,
Yeah.
that stays in your operating fund. For this year. It's not really 27 budget discussion, but
How much did we move this year already based on the additional that we did for a few months?
We have $75,000 now for the additional $25,000 that's gonna start next month. I've transferred at least, I believe, 4 of the Astoria payment, so that should be a little bit over $200,000. And then all of the resales that we have had been allocated 100% of the resales that we have had so far.
That 75,000 there. Well, that can be looked
you're
at.
just choking yourself on the operating fund when you're doing that.
Well,
Yeah.
we're making it work.
Short term, but see, let's break the cycle. We can't operate like this.
We agree with you, Mike.
Off this committee's recommendation.
Mine.
I don't think we advised against it,
I was a
Because of
dispenser.
what it was gonna look like in December.
We,
We changed it last meeting anyway.
Yes.
We cannot set in stone. There was hopeful thinking or maybe wishful thinking of maybe it is gonna be under budget this year, so we do have a little bit of cash flow to play with. If that turns out, I mean, Jim said we're about 120, 150. Ray's at 380. We'll see how the year goes and
Bookends.
where that shortfall is. And depending on where it is, then yeah, do we need to claw back more or move it, adjust it?
but we're running out of time here. We're burning daylight because we've got to come up with a solution on the budget strategy, which ties this whole thing together.
Even if
It's
we,
not independent.
even if we meet all the budget lines, we know that labor composition is gonna be over budget at least $120,000. We know that we didn't budget for the property taxes. That's an additional $40,000. That alone is 160.
Yeah, I would put it at like
And we're-
30,000.
Add to that the $30,000 for the account statement. That's what, 190? Like, we're gonna get to that number unless we can find like big savings somewhere else,
Right.
which
The reality is, we're never gonna be able to repay this. I mean, we're just not budgeting to get there. So we can slow walk it and piecemeal it with the 275, cutting that off, going to capital now, start to repay some of it that way. Or use it to build liquidity within the operating fund. But we're never gonna get there for the 600. It's not going to happen. We're never gonna get to a decent ratio. It's just not gonna happen. So whether you do it now or later, call Ted or Fred, we're gonna face it. It's a reality.
So we'll change the numbers based on the conversations and the two large recommendations and the architects and the electrical revamp. We'll leave the budget at that with the 250, then we'll do an iteration with Mike's suggestion. So you can see where the numbers fall.
And which ones did you say you're gonna put in? The
The
inspections, the architect?
inspections, the
And the delay.
the delay and the architect.
Yeah, those three items.
And then the electrical
Yeah.
review, and there was something else, the potential for a statement bill back.
yes.
That'd be $36,000, right?
Yeah, and you want
And we've got the insurance thing hanging out there. When are we gonna be able to make a decision on that?
I'll see. He said end of August, early September, so. I'll get a schedule from him. I think reasonable. Looking at your prior year, you were averaging around 10%, 10 to 15% increase, I think,
About the $40,000.
yeah, so.
That's what I was.
But they just put the scripts on that whole thing with its insurance.
Yeah, I mean, you had a 27% increase last year. So
That was before they did
For the
the
renters.
audit. I mean,
that was the audit, was the
Oh.
impact of the 27% increase.
all right.
So I wouldn't anticipate that high of an increase this year, but they did say, there could be potential for an increase. Plus you gotta account for now, we gotta insure all those parks and the new amenity center and playground.
And well, depending on where the savings go, I can be open to some additional.
What savings?
Whatever savings you're trying to get, your 250.
He's
So you
open
want-
to your
you
idea
wanna add it?
depending on
You wanna
how
add
it
it?
looks.
Yeah, I know. I think that's why I made the point. I think if we can get to under 20% and fund the 500, we should do it.
Everybody's good.
I mean, that's, for me, that's my mental threshold.
I mean, I was thinking 90% of where we're gonna be in.
Exactly.
That's.
So if we can get there, if we can get there and fund the 500, then we can race to the finish line, to use your analogy.
Do it all in one year, right?
Which we need.
Clean it.
Clean it up. Don't fret. Use that.
Let's try it.
But you're saying you want to forgive 600 and,
Yeah, Frank's statement.
I'm good with it.
you want to forgive 612.
Be up there though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We gotta deliver. on
I'm right now,
the
only want to forgive 275,
Because
because that's what Matt, we never paid us, so it was never should have been in the budget.
so they're standing on principle, then how are we gonna pay that back?
Yes.
In two
We're
thousand
not paying,
twenty,
275 is what we're not paying back.
but
No,
if,
The rest of it,
you
are you
can
paying the rest of it back?
if, starting in two thousand twenty-eight, you make
Every
a
year.
$250,000 instead of an allocation, you make a $0
And that's
allocation,
where.
and you make a two
See
hundred
where the
fifty
rest of
thousand
it's
dollar.
That's
Of
what
the,
he says.
of the 642, I can't see what year that's coming from. Right now, 275 is coming from Mattamy. I can attribute that to one thing, And that's funds that are never gonna be.
Why does it matter where?
If there's something else of overspending or not budgeting or things like that, then.
It's poor budgeting in other prior years and backing yourself into too low of an increase.
Forgiveness is.
But it wasn't always due to capital.
No, but you're seeing year over year, your due to capital is growing and growing because we backed ourselves into increases year over year. So you've eroded any of the baseline you had in your operating fund. When you had, in 21, you had a good baseline in your operating fund and then you ran a net positive.
In
in
5
21.
years, we burned 1.2 million in cash. 5 years, 1.2 million. Remember that chart I did? 5 years, our net earnings, our deficit or surplus is basically cash flow because we got no other non-cash
So that's,
expenses.
I'll have to go back and look at it, because I don't think
Look at
that's accurate, because again, if we do, the 1 year was like a $16,000 deficit. The other
Yeah, I
year
think-
was 275 based off of anatomy. I think that out, that's
No,
3
you had
years. pretty much there.
another year that was 195 or
No, I know
$200,000.
it's the bigger years, but
Just
that's where I'll
about
have
to
to
have it for you in a minute.
get more familiar with what it is, because if it truly was a homeowner or a board overspend on a budget, then okay.
It was
One
eight
point
fifty-one
one two nine.
851 remediation, the Mattamy
Doesn't matter what it is.
dues.
That's a cash we burned.
All right, so then it's a 2021 to 2023 for the most part.
I
If I
don't
forget,
care.
if I forget
I
Mattamy
don't think it
here
matters.
and 2024, 2025.
Don't blame the budget. blame the
Yeah.
spending.
No,
I don't care
Yeah,
where
but
it
that's,
is.
I know, but that's,
Exactly.
that's
24.
prior to Grand Mattamy.
So if you budget for revenue, you
And
don't,
it's 225,000 a year.
Yeah, that's
And we
not
got
spending
another
problem,
number coming here.
that's
That's
budget.
every 1 year if we believe it.
All the rest
Yeah,
are
that's the
spending.
amount that is.
That's up to
I
1.5.
think essentially spending
to
from-
remediate this building.
At a minimum.
And then the other years you backed into percentage
There
increases.
you go. I had 330.
Oh, is it
I
spending?
mean, as far as
1.4
forgiveness, I just think you don't.
He's saying that's
Fire, you
385.
don't forgiveness.
That's gonna be over
Future
1.5.
budget
The
that would have that
short
allocation.
This is just
give you
another
the
year out of
allocation
it,
for
the budget.
payback.
The projected.
It's still money, it's still the money going there, it's just, what are you calling, I mean,
That's
that's what
cash.
is listed in the proposal
We're
now.
getting paid back.
Yeah, but he wants to change that.
And that's fine, and now that's fine, I'm basically saying, take the
But again,
line as it says, as it reads now, use that for the 2028 budget.
For majority of it. That's how I see it.
Start
That's
making
fine.
a contribution out of.
So that's.
So, yeah,
cleaning
don't
up
forgive it, but
yeah,
build
that's
this
history prior to
contingency, but
Grand
don't
Mattamy,
forgive.
Them as Matt, trying to stay.
Basically, in
No,
future
Grand
years, who you do want to make the allocation, we don't call it an allocation, we go straight to a payback.
In a perfect world.
A payback until the payback's gone, and then we start back to allocate.
Possibility too.
Once we get the liquidity right, then we can decide on continuing the residents' contribution to capital, or we can decide that we're gonna have strong budgets to try to make break even, and we're not gonna put residents' money into the fund anymore, into the capital. I'm not sure I agree with that decision, but we can make that decision in the following year. We'll have the right to do, we'll have the ability to do that,
All right,
but
well,
we've got to get liquidity first.
so we've got our takeaways. Are there any other takeaways that we need to make sure we hit?
Find more money.
I will wave my magic wand. I'll talk to Tinkerbell.
Don't use the one you've been using. How long have you been?
Oh.
Andy was just asking me, how long has Grand Manor's been here?
November 2020,
That's what I thought.
So 20,
And they- and
their
the
first
20.
year, 2022.
and we didn't build that budget.
Right.
We didn't build the 23 budget either.
You build a 22?
No,
22,
22, 21, 22, and 23, we did not build.
Yeah, so that was all pretty down. So that's what I'm saying. We can do the 275 for Mattamy.
You
That
know,
takes
you
care-
and I came in and tail end, tried to piecemeal the 23 at the tail end. Cause that was after the mother
23, I
resignation.
rewrote the financial
Yeah.
statements.
Yeah, cause that was Kenzel resigned and Mummy resigned.
Those were the days.
You should have been here then. I said,
I was on the outside looking in and I didn't like what I.
we're using contra assets in the revenue section and everything else, the Brian Kinsel creation.
Oh, the contract.
I rewrote the financial statements at that
And we
point.
changed it, partner rec fees and all that.
We were sweeping department rec fees off before they even covered any cost. We were naked in terms of liability on that thing.
Was everybody feeling a little bit better?
Jim's not.
I think realistically, it's gonna be.
I don't think you wanna
18,
push
20%. I think that's
Let's
what
get
it
it-
is. I mean,
yeah.
You can
Let's
try to
see what
work
numbers-
different things.
I don't think you wanna page Joe.